Hi, I'm Angela Clark with the APQS Raleigh showroom at Threadwaggle Quilting. Today we're going to be working on a border on a quilt that's 34 inches long, so I'll need to break it into two sections to actually get it to be able to quilt in the long arm. So if you look at my screen, you'll notice I've already set up a pattern that's 17 and a half inches wide and just under 4 inches wide. I'm sorry, that was 17 and a half inches long and just under 4 inches wide. And what we're going to do is actually put it in this space on the quilt. So we're going to go all the way from the leveler bar in the back up to the top bar in the front. And I'm going to set it with using a 1-point setting. I'm actually going to put my long arm so that the corners of the sides of my feet are on the edge of the quilt top on the side and the back. And I'm going to use that as my corner. I'm going to hit up here on settings, make sure that I have 1 point and corner selected, and say OK, and then I'm going to tap that bar. What that's going to do is actually say that's the corner of my border, and it's going to quilt in this space down to here. Once it gets down to this point, I'll start it back up for you and show you how I'm going to join the two sections together. Done. Okay, so I have quilted the first part, and I'll be able to finish the border in the second with one more pass. So in this case, I want it to start exactly where I stopped on the last pass. So I've actually left my needle down in there and forwarded the quilt. Now, if you look at the screen, you'll notice that my end point is actually stopping where I ended the last row. And it just has to do with the way that this quilt, this particular one, is designed. I'm going to actually want to go into my select pattern. I'm sorry, I lied. I'm going to want to go into my settings and change this to end point and then say OK. Once I do that and I say that's where my end point is, right, because I want it to end there, it's actually aligned the two patterns together. Now I don't really want it to start at the bottom and quilt back towards my end point. I want it to be a little bit more accurate than that, so I'm going to actually reverse the pattern so it's going to start right where it ended, and I'm going to quilt the rest of the row.